What's up, everyone? Marc Abrams here, doing our first live Abrams boxing show. This is episode number 72. I'll be joined in a few minutes by Vaughn Alexander. If anyone who's watching, wherever you're watching, whatever platform, whether it's X, whether it's um, YouTube or Facebook, you can feel free to comment. I will try to post your comment on the screen and hopefully answer them. We'll just get right down. It's a brief news week. IBF Cruiserweight Champion Jay Apataya this morning, Wednesday morning, United States, Wednesday night in Australia, scored a fourth round stoppage over David Naika. Apataya now 27-0, 21 knockouts, now solidifies himself even more as the top cruiserweight in the world. Naika 10-1, 9 knockouts that took place at the Gold Coast Convention Center in Broad Beach, Australia. It was a very good fight. Naika, who's a talented fighter, came in with the 10-0 record, fought toe-to-toe with Apataya until round four. Apataya really laid the wood down on Naika, hurt him really bad on the rope, stopped him in round four. Time was 2:17. Apataya, is now looking for a fight with Zurdo Ramirez, the WBC champion, which would be a pretty mouth-watering unification fight. So I look forward to seeing that fight. I saw a rumor right that Zurdo Ramirez may fight Yunel Dorticos, who's a humongous puncher, at some point next, maybe in March. So maybe we'll get a spring, early summer fight between Apataya and Zurdo Ramirez. Should Zurdo Ramirez, if that fight materializes with Dorticos, happen. This week, Saturday in Sheffield, England, on Sky and Peacock, Caroline Dubois, 10-05 knockouts. She will make the first defense of the WBC Lightweight Championship against Jessica Camara. This is Camara's second shot at a world title. She dropped a split decision to Golden Globe Award nominee Kaylee Reese back in 2021. That was at 140 pounds. This fight now is at 135 pounds. Like we said, I have an interview in the can here with Vaughn Alexander. Alexander is going to fight Maidel Sando at Country Box 28. I'll be lucky enough to be behind the mic calling that fight down in Nashville, Tennessee on January the 21st. And what's going to be, I think, a real good fight. So here, very interesting. We get into it with Vaughn Alexander about even stuff outside of the boxing ring. Now joining me on the line is super middleweight Vaughn Alexander. He will take on Maidel Sando in the main event of Country Box 28 on January the 21st down in Nashville, Tennessee. What's happening, Vaughn?
What's going on, my man? Been a minute. How you doing?
Been a minute. It sure has. So starting off the year, much like you have the last couple years, take on any and all comers. This time, the undefeated Maidel Sando, Nashville, Tennessee, is part of Country Box. Tell us your thoughts on this fight.
I mean, my thoughts. I'm coming in to put that smash down. Them my thoughts. 2025 gonna be real good for me, bro. I promise you.
Coming off a win, a fourth round stoppage in your hometown in St. Louis over Nestor Hernandez back on November the 23rd. Obviously, I think I asked you this before when you were on. Your mindset, especially the last couple of years, you're one of those guys that have fight, will travel, fight anywhere, any place, anytime. How has that maybe prepared you for, January 21st against Sando? What do you think of him as a fighter?
I'm not gonna lie. I really don't know too much about him. I mean, look, you know how I do, man. I'm not really looking to, look at, him too much. Because most guys that I fight, they naturally don't fight the same when they fight me. So I got a sense of, how he fight. So, he's a come forward guy. So, if he fight, the way that he fights in all of his fights, then, it's going to be a good night for boxing.
You fought all these, kind of guys who are on the cusp. And Billy, you fought Darius Foljam, Deverenchenko, who's fought for the world title a few times. Several other guys. We can go down the list. All a bunch of undefeated guys. Some split decision losses to Kamakov last year. Big win over Luis Arias back in 2021. You consider yourself one of those throwback fighters because you see how everything is today. Guys are kind of posturing and trying to. They're looking for ways not to fight. You actually, I think, are one of the few guys out there looking for ways to fight these guys.
Most definitely, man. I really do believe that I'm one of the last breeds that uh, have that type of mindset. Have that type of heart to get in there with everybody that say they're somebody. So listen, man. Right now, I just feel that I'm very, very motivated. I know a lot of fighters say that, but I promise you, Mark, I'm so motivated. Um, 2025, bro. I just feel it in my bones that it's gonna be a good year for me, bro. And I really do believe that I am one of the last breeds, and a lot of these guys they trying to protect themselves, and but the thing of it is why they protecting themselves is so much time there's just going past them. You know what I'm saying? They fight one time, or 2 years go by and they fight, and so all of the fights that I've had, it set me up for this good year that I'm about to have, man.
Well, that's kind of the next question I was thinking of. What brought that into you? Most fighters, when they've lost a few in a row, they kind of go on the downslide and maybe show up these fights and take a paycheck. It seems like you have the mindset and the confidence that you're coming in now, especially now 2025, to get your hand raised in some of these fights where you might not. I said 2025, you seem like you have a renewed confidence where some other fighters where they would have lost a few times, maybe you've had the decisions or some of the results go against them like they have. A lot of these fighters now, they come in, okay, I've lost 5, 6 in a row. I'm going to start taking fights just to get a paycheck and not get hurt. You were not doing that. You seem to have a renewed confidence for some reason. What brought that about?
Man, I don't know. I just think I don't know. I can't put my hand on it, but man, I just feel, um because we've been knowing each other for a minute now, and I try to keep it as honest as I possibly can. And if I felt that it was time for me to go, then that's what I would do. However, I just feel this surge that I have inside of me, man. I just I train nonstop. Um, um, I'm looking good, and I feel good and spoiling, and I just fighting. I'm spoiling all different type of fighters, and man, I like I said, I can't put my hand on it, but man, I just feel such confidence right now that 2025 is gonna be a blessed year for me. I'm telling you, bro. And you the first person that's interviewing me of this year, and you the first person that I'm telling, and I'm telling you, it's gonna happen, bro. I promise you.
Was there one of these last two or three fights, or like you said, in sparring? Was there a time you put I mean, that kind of, I mean, that kind of changed the mindset that you know what, one
I
of these
think my
fights.
last fight, I think my last fight, it wasn't even the opponent. It was the way I did things. The way that I took every round, I wasn't looking ahead, you know what I'm saying? I just took one round at a time, and I executed my game plan. So I just feel that, you know, that's something that I've been working on for a long time, to take one round at a time and not look ahead of three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. Not, you know what I'm saying? I got to take one round at a time, win that round, get to the next round. And I just feel after my last fight, you know the way that I did things, it seemed like something just clicked, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I just been having that feeling, at the end of the year, all the way up until now, and I just feel good, bro. I promise you, man. I just feel real, real good.
Was that? I mean, did you go back and say to yourself, you know what, if I would have just done it like this against Deverenchenko
No,
or
no, 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 no,
Karatov?
no, 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 no. Listen. I've never, any fight that I've lost, I've never went back and watched it.
Okay.
I'm a move forward type of guy. I don't cry over spilled milk. Listen, man, let me tell you something. I did almost 12 years in prison, bro. Almost 12 years in prison. So I'm not someone that I can't cry about nothing, because I made it through 12 years in one of the most violent prisons that you could probably be in. And I did my first share of violence in there. I mean, you got to, you know what I mean, being around these type of guys and in that type of environment. So, but I just feel that I'm blessed that I was able to, because a lot of people that I've encountered wasn't able to make it out of, what I'm saying, those circumstances. So I was one of the blessed ones, and I was able to come out, and as you know, or as you see, that I've been out, and I just been doing my thing. But like now it just means something. For some, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I can keep rambling all day, but I don't know what it is, Mr. Abram, that what triggered this, or what then jumped inside my body, or what. But I just feel like this surge of motivation, this surge of, because you and I both know I'm always this close of beating anybody.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I've been doing the necessary things to make sure, I do those little things to make me win these rounds and these fights.
You feel a win over Sando, and then will get you a real big opportunity.
Of course. I mean, but you know me, I take, one fight at a time. I'm gonna go take care of this business, and we gonna see what's gonna happen right after. So, like I said, 2025, man, it's gonna be real good for me, man. And you gonna see with my first performance of the year. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna take care of him how I need to take care of him. And like I said, if he come and if he fight the way that he normally be fighting, it's gonna be an exciting fight. However, I feel that I just feel ain't nobody gonna be able to beat me this year, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Got different, kind of just off the beaten track for a second. You mentioned about the time you spent away. How many people? And I know we talked about this in one of our previous interviews, but now that you're a few more years out, how many people have come up to you, especially in St. Louis, and say that you've inspired them, that no matter what happens to you earlier in life, that you can still make it out and do something. You get a lot of that around St. Louis?
Oh man, tons of people. And I always tell the younger guys that, first and foremost, learn from my mistake that you definitely don't want to go through that. I mean, that's not a situation that you want to put yourself into, put yourself in the environment where you don't know what's going to happen this day or the next day. So, but I always tell them, man, listen, even despite making mistakes, with hard work and put your faith in God that you can get out of any situation, um, that you can turn things around. Um, but I get tons of that, man, and they see that I'm a workhorse. They see that I've never strayed away from my career. I never strayed away from no matter how many times I've lost or how many times I've won. I'm right back in the gym because I'm really want to win a world title before it's over with.
A guy like you remind me. I'm sure a fighter that you may have remember come on. A guy like Freddie Pendleton. He had a whole bunch of losses, but
Yeah,
somehow he just kept on, kept on. I think he may have 18, 19 losses. He won a couple fights, beating guys maybe equivalent to Sando, some undefeated guys, maybe put him back in position, and by doggone it, he won a world title. Is that kind? I don't know if you know his story, but is that something that when you hear something like that, it's possible?
oh man, I know, like not to sound like arrogant or nothing like that. I've always felt that any given night, I can change my life. So that's the reason why I train the way that I train, nonstop every day. It doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter the circumstances of what's going on in the world. I'm gonna get to the gym and I'm gonna train and I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And I always felt that before it's all over, I will win a world title. I
I,
will. And even if I did it, long as I beat some of the top 10, what I mean, that'll be that's even more motivating for me to be able to beat these guys in the top 10.
well, I got a message on. Let me find this here. Um, talk to the management group of Sando, Ashley. I'm sure you know Ashley Adams. Uh, said they feel that they're coming to maybe even get a stoppage over you. So now you know that. How's that motivate you even more?
Well, I've been doing this a long time, and I know a lot of people do a lot of talking. And if anybody gonna get stopped, it's definitely gonna be him. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, if anybody gets stopped, it's gonna be him, man. I'm coming to, put on a good performance, put on a good show, and man, yeah, talking about stopping me I fought a lot of good fighters, man, and he ain't fought nobody, on nobody level that I've fought. So, he better be ready for what I'm finna bring.
There you have it. One of the best fights, Country Box 28, our 28th edition of Country Box. And one of, if not, in my opinion, the best fight that we, on paper, the real good matchup with the undefeated Maidel Sando against a real tough veteran in there, a terrific fighter in Vaughn Alexander. Vaughn, any final thoughts for the fans before we see you January 21st, the Troubadour, Nashville, Tennessee? One other question. Have you heard about the Country Box series?
No, this is my first time ever hearing about that, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they do things.
So it's a fun night of boxing and great music as well, and it'll be all headlined by Vaughn Alexander. Vaughn taking on Maidel Sando. You can watch it on USA Today, USA Today Sports, countrybox247.com, Country Box on YouTube, and some other YouTube platforms as well. Vaughn, one real quick question, final thought.
Mark, 2025. Remember, I told you.
The great thing about YouTube that these videos get stored away. So when it
That's right.
happens, people will see the prophecy of Vaughn Alexander. Vaughn, thank you for a few minutes of your time, and we'll talk to you along the way.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, bro.
See you on the 21st. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Vaughn.
Thank you.
Great interview with Vaughn Alexander. Again, a guy he's fought everyone over the last couple of years at super middleweight and middleweight. You know, you got to get past a guy like Vaughn Alexander if you believe that you're a contender. But now Vaughn says he may have found something in himself that, you know what, maybe it's his time. Maybe better late than never. I mean, if nothing else, he's going to really bring it on January 21st when he takes on Maidel Sando in the main event of Country Box 28, the fastest rising, growing series in boxing, very consistent. Twice a month. I'm only going to run once in January, but twice. I already have 2 dates in February and March and April, and just keep going for a lot. Keep looking out for a lot of things going to be happening down in Nashville, and maybe Country Box, maybe coming to a city near you. Some news of the week: a couple fights have been added to the February 1st card in Las Vegas that will culminate with a 4-fight pay-per-view card featuring David Benavidez and David Morrell Jr. A couple fights on the Amazon Prime, the regular Amazon Prime lineup that will take place at 6 o'clock before the pay-per-view. First fight will be undefeated former Olympian featherweights Mirko Coelho, 14-0, 11 knockouts, taking on Christian Olivo, 22-1-1, 8 knockouts. That's a 10-round featherweight fight. Plus, the WBA's number one ranked middleweight contender, Yonel Feliciano Hernandez, 6-0, 6 knockouts. Out of Cuba, taking on Angel Ruiz. That will be a 10-round fight. That will open up the stream on February the 1st in the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Top Rank announced a lightweight world championship fight for Valentine's Night, February 14th at the theater at Madison Square Garden. Denis Baranchek, 19-0, 9 knockouts, will make the first defense of his championship to take on the 2020 Olympic silver medal winner Keyshawn Davis, 12-0, 8 knockouts. ESPN will televise the fight also. Xander Zayas is fighting an undefeated fighter who's 22-0 and opened up the 3-fight ESPN card will be Vito Mielnicki Jr. taking on Connor Coyle. We'll talk to Vito probably in the next couple of weeks to check out that will be his toughest fight to date, I believe, on paper. Also, Abdullah Mason, Jared Anderson, Rohan Polanco, Nico Ali Walsh on the ESPN Plus portion of the card. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us. Again, this is episode 72. We'll be doing this at least once a week, maybe even more, depending on some breaking news or we get some hot interviews, which we'll be pushing for in the next couple of weeks and throughout the next year. I want to thank everyone for watching us. And sports podcast be tomorrow night around 5:30, 6 o'clock. Big announcement of a podcast, remote podcast we'll be doing this week in conjunction, with some NFL football possibly. So we will tell you all about that